What's up? Don't forget to subscribe, check out my channel playlist for individual tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. Before we begin with the tutorial, I would like to say, this is my game, follow me on Dreams. I'm young, text YouTube on Dreams. This is going to be called Fighting Game Genesis. I like making unique games, and this right here is unique in the concept of Smash Bros. You'll move between two different planes, as you can see, sort of like Little Big Planet. So this is going to be really fun. Hopefully I can make a multiplayer, all that great stuff once that comes out. I can't wait to. And if you would like your character to be involved with this fighting game, let me know and send me the creation. Young Text YouTube on Dreams, and then maybe I'll involve it. So here's some things that I left out with my tutorial. Not too much, just some extra tidbits that you can add to your thing and some things that you might want to do. So if you didn't want to make it to where you can just hold the button from this control sensor to get to the next combo in the timeline, you can actually connect it to instead of connecting the square button or whatever button it is to the keyframe that disables the on switch that resets the timeline to where it can't move to the next attack. The keyframe does that. What you can do is, instead of putting the square button or whatever button it is into the power of that, you can put the square button into the input of a signal manipulator and put the output of the signal manipulator while it's on custom mapper into the keyframe that then turns off the switch that would otherwise reset the timeline to where you can't move forward with the attack. And you can look up my combo tutorial if you don't understand what I'm talking about. I'll go into just how to easily make combos in Dreams Ps4. So here are the settings for the single press, custom remapper, pulse that on, and then that's pretty much it. It should instantly come like this, no shaping, all that great stuff. Square button would be right here, and the output is right here, which is where the keyframe would where you would plug into the keyframe's power. You would just plug this part right here into the keyframe's power if you didn't want to make it a hold attack. You can also use AND gates and stuff like that to where you can press two buttons to get to the next part of the attack timeline chain. If you don't press the buttons, then it would reset it and also change it to change the timeline to sustain. That way it won't loop over and over again. But then once you press the button, a different keyframe changes it back to once, to where it will just continue with the attack if you press the proper button. Another thing that I left out, you don't need to actually have anything plugged into here. You just need bypass on. If you looked up my first tutorial, you'll understand what I'm saying. You need nothing plugged into here. You just need the proper buttons that make the timeline attack that correlates with the button presses on the left. And you can also use AND gates here to where you can combine button presses to get a switch started. All you need is just to plug it into the left and then get the timeline combos plugged into the proper things on the right. Next, while the whole thing is animating the combos and the attacks, you can actually put in a keyframe that's not on keep changes, you can actually make it to where that keyframe, if you were using remote control, you would want to make it to where that keyframe puts this to none. If you're using possessible, you'll want to make it to where the keyframe disables controls with an on-off switch while this is animating. What this will do is make it to where you can't press buttons while the animation is playing. This means that you won't be able to restart the timeline or go to a different combo that's in a different timeline by pressing a different button. This pretty much makes it to where once you press the button, it has to fulfill the attack in order to be able to press different buttons. You can also make the timelines longer if you want some kind of input lag to make it to where you can't use an attack until after the thing is done, and then you at the end of the timeline you can make it to where that pretty much stops and whatnot. Since the on-off switch is only, or the keyframe that disables all the controls is only on while the timeline is on, so that's how that pretty much works. You can also make it to where a keyframe just powers off the control sensor. That can, it doesn't always, that can make just as well disable controls. But if you do that, then the imp can sometimes blast out and then repossess it once you know that stops, since forced possession should be on if you're using this. And that's equivocally the best ways to disable the controls. That's pretty much all I left out, not too much. Don't forget to follow me on Dreams, and I'm Young Tech's YouTube on Dreams. Subscribe, check out my channel playlist, just click on my channel name, then go to my channel playlist if you need tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. And check out my game Linger, From Mars and Back, and I have a few other games. You can like look up my sculptures on my account if you need sculptures for your games. I'm pretty good at sculpting, all that great stuff. And that's pretty much it. You can look up my 2D games tutorial. In order to make 2D games, all you need is a signal manipulator. It's pretty easy, and then plugged into the walk. That's the only thing you really need just to get started. And my combos tutorial should pop up on this video. My fighting game tutorial, in order to make the combos, you know, thing, a fighting game, that should be here. And this is pretty much the last step, which is just adding signal manipulators to the timeline to where it's single button press instead of button hold, to where let's just go ahead and press play, where you have to press the button in order for it to get to the next thing. You can't hold it like this. So that's pretty much what I'm talking about here. And then there's other you know, combos within that same timeline. Since there's two control sensors, the on-off switch is what's you know, doing that, making it reset, and then just plugged into the proper things as the first combo video that I did. And then this right here is the final, you know, thing, the final combo. So this is how I do combos. I hope you guys enjoy it. Fighting game Genesis. Holy crap, I'm actually really enjoying this one. Peace out, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Dreams. I'm Young Tech's YouTube.